All right, well, this went pretty well. So it's the next day, and I got off on the red line in Taipei, Zhuwei station, Zhuwei. And there's a couple of kilometers. It's like a cycling / jogging trail, or in my case, just walking. The only one just walking, but whatever. And it's right alongside the water, and it's real fucking pretty. Oh man, in the distance, I think it's just a crane, but for a second, this crane looked like a giant statue. It looked like those statues in New Vegas, the two people shaking hands. But no, I think it's just a crane. That'd be cool though if they could combine that, if they could make cranes look cool, look like big dinosaurs and stuff. And I think it is umbrella time. But it's right on the border. I almost didn't need this umbrella. Because yeah, this is where it turned out pretty good, where I was in my little Airbnb, and my little room has, the actual apartment is just a nice normal apartment, you know, with windows and stuff, but my room specifically has none. Just a little box. So I'm never quite sure what's going on outside, but I heard thunder so loud that it easily rumbled through all the walls. Not that the walls are particularly thick, but you know, I have headphones in, got my air conditioner going. I'm inside and just felt this rumble several times. And I was like, uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. Maybe this should be a day I just stay in. But I hate staying in all day. It fucking sucks. It would have to be severe weather for me to do that. So I figured let's just go. Let's just go and see what happens. The weather is extremely variable, so there's a decent chance that by the time I get where I'm going, it'll be different. And that is the case. It was raining a bit still when I left the apartment, but it was already getting a little better. And then, yeah, I rode the train. Turns out I had to do a little transfer to get here at Beitou. And then, yeah, by the time I got here, it's basically a sun shower. I almost don't need this umbrella. Very nice. It's all working out. And yeah, across the river from here, man, those are some pretty ass mountains. I wonder. I mean, I learned yesterday in the previous half of this podcast that just heading for the mountains is ill-advised, not a good idea. But that was, you know, the national park, the entire northern tip of Taiwan. These mountains, like, again, they're so close. Like, there's buildings and then the mountains just start immediately, and they're still like quite large mountains. Like, the top has some cloud cover, but they're literally right there. Like, they're so fucking close. That's interesting. That is something I want to look into. There is a bridge, a red bridge. But I don't know how I would get over there. I don't think the train goes over there. Oh, but there's a little hiking symbol. Yinghanlin Trail. So that's funny, because Yinhang... Yeah, okay, no, the national park is Yangming. Yeah, same as always, where since I don't know the base meaning of these words, it's very hard for me to remember them, since they are just sounds to me. I was like, isn't that the name of the national park? But it is not. But yeah, this is a way smaller little mountain range that is directly surrounded by a road all the way around. So it wouldn't be one of these just endless mountains. Like, what I'm looking at is it, that's it. But it is a pretty huge mountain. It's pretty severe. That looks very enticing. And as for getting there, I mean, yeah, there's this red bridge. I don't know, you can probably walk across the bridge. I guess it's pretty rare for a bridge that you can't walk across. Oh yeah, there's a little green line. Nice, a little green pedestrian line right on the bridge. That's cool. Wonder if they do that often. I've never noticed that before, but like, just to let you know, don't worry about it, you can walk across that bridge. Because then the other option is the yellow line to Luzhou, Luzhou, but I would still have to walk a ways from there. That seems fucking cool. I think I may have figured out my next plan. Nice. For today though, just gonna see if I can walk all the way down this river, see if I can make it to the ocean, and that'll do for today. Because I'll be more or less at Tamsui station at the end of this line, close enough that I can get back to it pretty easy. Shuilun Beach. Can I make it all the way there today? We'll see. We will see. Oh yeah, sun is coming out even more. The problem is, I guess, because it was so overcast and rainy, I didn't even think about putting on suntan lotion. It completely slipped my mind. And I learned in Jeju that that's a very bad idea, even when it is overcast all day. There's a lot more evil diffusing through those clouds than it seems. But now the sun is for real out and I have no suntan lotion at all. Maybe I should just keep this umbrella out, I guess. This is a good excuse to have the umbrella out. And a guy just went by on his bike, an older guy, classic bald head guy. And he has a wet towel on his head, a little hand towel. Like, I guess people do that in hot springs and stuff. They put a towel on their head, but just to keep it out of the water, to keep it dry. Just a little towel that you can dry off with when you get out of the water. But yeah, this guy had a little damp towel on his head, I guess, just to cool his head from the humidity and to protect his poor bald head from the sun. Not a bad idea. But yeah, this is fucking pretty. And yeah, now that the sun is out and it's shining on those mountains, like, man, it's so weird. It's such a contained spot and it looks so easy to get to. But I mean, that is a severe mountain. I wonder how high that is. Wish I had internet so I could look it up. That looks like some intense shit. Yeah, another walker just walked by me. Nice. I'm not the only one walking. It always feels a little weird because it's like a tiny bit like I'm in the way, even though I'm just walking over to the side. But all the cyclists have to go past me. But I ain't the only one walking. But yeah, I'll find the official hiking path for that mountain for sure. I mean, approaching mountains just from a random direction, I mean, it never works, ever. I think the only reason I ever even consider that is because it's just so different in Eastern Canada. We just don't really have a lot of mountains, and when we do, it's like really gradual. It's not like, here's just a mountain, boom, right in the landscape, covered in trees. Instead, it's just a gradual mountain with very sparse trees. Not sparse, I mean, there's a lot of trees, but there's a lot of space between the trees. You really can just approach from anywhere. The only thing that's going to stop you is civilization, if there's a fence or someone's property. But the physical geography, it's like, don't worry about it. Approach from anywhere, go anywhere, who cares? But you wouldn't anyway, because, the mountains are all outside of the city, and they're just, literal wilderness for hours and hours and hours. You're just going to get lost and then get eaten by a bear. So yeah, around here you really need to know how to approach, but because it's a whole different situation. There's just a nice densely populated area. Somebody will always have your back. Someone in the past has arranged something. Someone has already figured this out. You just got to follow their lead. So just two little things in mind. So a guy just jogged by, and his clothes are 100% wet. And obviously that's partially from the rain, but also just from the humidity and the sweatiness. So that's one thing that is not a big deal, but kind of a weirdly big deal in a way, is I made a change to one of my fundamental habits. It's always good to just have a consistent habit if it's something important. And in this case, it's my passport. It's the one thing I can't get a double of. That 2 is 1, 1 is none. I've got 2 pairs of glasses. I've got 2 bank cards. Anything that's really important, I got 2 of, except my passport, because you can't get a second one. So I always had it and my spare bank card in this little sling style pouch that my ma had that she gave me, that I just put put it on every morning under my shirt, and I just wear it like a little sling, and it's got my stuff in it. Just put it on and forget about it, and there you go. And I've just done that every day for all these months that I've been traveling. And it was a little bit of a problem, even in Japan, just because it was so warm while I was there. Even in the winter, where it would get awful sweaty and stuff. So inside this little pouch, I still have my passport and bank card wrapped in a plastic bag. In fact, it's a plastic bag from way back when I went out to Akigawa. And I found this fancy machine where for like $10 you could buy these fancy chocolate squares that came in a fancy little box. And they came with a fancy little bag, and it was just cool. I kept the little box for a while, but after a while I was like, I really can't afford to keep dragging this around the world with me because I just don't need it. But I did keep the little bag, and that's what I wrapped my passport in. So, if it gets a little wet or a little sweaty or a little damp, it's all right. The passport's still safe in there. But yeah, it's just been ridiculous now that pure summer has hit. And yesterday I was like, this is enough. This is ridiculous. Again, some of it was the rain, but it really was just the sweatiness. I was just at 100% wetness. Like if I walked up to my neck into a lake and walked back out, my shirt wouldn't have been more wet. You know what I mean? It was 100% wet. It was fucking so gross. And this pouch under my shirt was also 100% wet, just soaked, like I had just dunked it under water. And I was like, this is no way to keep my passport safe, It's neat to have it on this little sling under my shirt so I won't lose it. But I can't just be having my fucking stuff get that wet every day. It's fucking gross, and it's not safe to the passport. So I finally moved it. Instead, the little day bag that I bought on Oyama Road that I always carry around. It's this nice little leather bag that I bought. And I always have it on all day, every day. It has this recorder in it. It's got my phones in it. If I ever develop a hole in the pocket of my jeans, I'm sure I'll just end up putting my wallet in it instead of in my pants, instead of in my jeans pocket. It's a perfectly safe place to have my backup bank card and my passport because I always have it on me. I always have it with me. It's never out of my sight. I've never misplaced it. I can't even imagine how I would. I mean, I guess it's functionally the same as having the sling under my shirt. It's just this is a bigger sling over my shoulder, over my shirt. But it's way more waterproof. So I had just a little disposable 7-Eleven rain jacket thing tucked away in a little side pouch on this thing that I've just never used. It's one of those things, again, my ma had kicking around. She's like, could you use this when you're traveling? And I was like, yeah, actually, that could be handy. I'll take that. Tucked it away, and I just never used it. And if I haven't used it yet, through all the rainy season and stuff in Korea, I'm just never going to use it. So I took that out. I replaced it with the passport. And it's fine, but it just feels weird because it's just a change in the routine, I always just kind of compulsively just sort of reach over and touch my little thing under my shirt just to make sure it's there. I'm just used to that. And now it's just not there anymore. I just feel like I don't know how this would fuck me up or how this would cause me to lose my passport, but because when I lost my passport in 2019, this is exactly how I lost it. It's just that I wasn't paying attention. I just wasn't aware of where it was, and I just misplaced it. So I just trained my brain to have this routine so I will never lose my passport. So it's just that I'm changing the routine. I feel a little weirdly anxious about it or uncomfortable about it, but I think that's good. I think it's good for my brain to be anxious for a bit, to bring some heightened awareness to this situation. This is when anxiety is good. Because I need my brain to repath this habit. I need my subconscious to forge a new little core memory or just core awareness of where the passport is. Should be no problem, but I don't know. Just thought I'd bring it up because it is just there's so few moving pieces to my travel plan. There's so few elements to it. I have so few things. And that this is in some ways the most important one. If I lose the passport, That's what I learned in 2019, is I didn't expect it to ground me as much as it did. Silly me, I thought I could at least just return to Canada. You know, that whatever other idea I had would be good enough to get me back home, and then I could sort it out from there. But that was not the case. This time I do have my birth certificate also tucked away in one of my bags, which I did not have before. That certainly helps. I mean, it definitely helps in getting a new passport. I don't know if it would help me get back home. It just seems so weird, like the idea that I couldn't return to Canada without a passport. Very fucking weird to me. But that is how it seemed to be. So yeah, just the fact that something's changing in my passport habit. You know, it's even good just to record it for myself, just to say this, to help forge those pathways in my brain of like, it's different now, things are new, but ultimately I imagine it won't be a big problem. All right, obviously I've drifted away from the nice shore to construction on one side, cars on the other, so let me turn this fucking bitch off. But all right, let's do a quick fade out. All right, change of plans. So since I was, that nice nature path next to the water suddenly became a city path. And from there, it definitely wasn't clear if I'd be able to keep walking and get to the shore. Didn't really seem like it, or even if I did, it would just be walking through city stuff. And conveniently, I needed to use the washroom. So I was like, hey, you know what? Not only is there a subway station right here, but there's like an extra additional line even beyond this subway, a little wee one that starts exactly where I was, Hongshulin Station, Hongshulin. So I hopped in there, and that's actually the other thing that I had on my mind that I wanted to talk about. Speaking of washrooms, is just squat toilets. So squat toilets are, I'd say, pretty uncommon in Japan. You know, you will come across them here and there, but it's pretty rare. You know, they were more common in Fukuoka than in Tokyo. But it was very few and far between that I ever really got stuck with a squat toilet situation. And then I think it was even less so in South Korea. They are there, they do exist, but they seemed really uncommon there. Where now that I've been in Taipei for a while, I can comfortably give Taipei the gold medal, the #1 award for having the most squat toilets. There are squat toilets everywhere here. Way more than South Korea or Japan. You could take the squat toilets in South Korea and Japan and combine them together, and there would still be 10 times more squat toilets here in Taiwan. Maybe more than that. Basically, almost every public washroom is squat toilets. You can pretty much always assume there's going to be a squat toilet. Luckily, most of the time, there's also a Western style toilet. But a lot of times it is the accessibility toilet, the toilet for people that, it's like I'm not supposed to use it. And I only did it once, but it was actually at that hot springs. The sulfur steam place. They had a squat toilet, and they had like the family washroom, the accessibility washroom that I normally never use, but just in that case, I was just like, oh geez, I don't know, this day is already a bit of a trial. There were a bunch of people there with their feet in the sulfur foot pond, and it's like, man, all these people are gonna see me go in there. But my thinking was like, you know what, I'm just gonna treat myself today. I'm gonna use this washroom. It honestly doesn't matter. I'm gonna be in there fucking 2 minutes. Nobody else is using it, it's fine. But I just figured I could kind of play the dopey foreigner card, like, whoops, oops, I didn't know. But I did know. I did know I'm supposed to go use the squat toilet. But yeah, I guess that's what started solidifying it in my brain. And just like, yeah, today at every train station I've been at, every subway station, has at least half squat toilets, if not the majority squat toilets. And then luckily, they do tend to have some Western toilet stalls as well that are like that you can just use. They're not the accessibility washrooms. And then, yeah, once in a while, it's just the squat toilets. So, yeah, I don't know. Just thought I'd mention that, that if you really hate squat toilets, you better learn to love them. If you want to come to Taiwan, you better be ready for that, because that's just how it is around here. So from there, I took the little light rail train to Kanding Station, Kanding. So in this case, it was a second turnstile I had to go through, a little additional charge. But yeah, I don't know. It's not looking like... You know what, I'm going to turn right around and go back. Because the way I'm going now, this is not working. I don't know if I can get to the shore at all, but definitely not from where I am now. But it's kind of cool because this little light rail, it's like a little teeny tiny train that goes up through the air. But then midway through, I've never seen this happen before, it went down to the ground and became a ground level streetcar. Man, can you imagine being on one of those buses that beeps all the time? Like, it beeps the whole time you're on it. God, that'd be fucking maddening. I don't know who thought that was necessary. Bus safety. I mean, there just has to be bus safety that doesn't involve continuous beeping. I need to stop bringing it up, but it really blows my mind. Like, I can't think of a worse fucking method. I mean, no beeping at all arguably would be better, because yeah, maybe people would be somewhat less aware that there's a bus coming, but it wouldn't be beeping all day. That's a distinct bonus. I don't know, I guess if I ever leap out of the way of a bus while I'm here that I was only aware of because it won't stop beeping, then I'll eat my words. But yeah, this is kind of cool because like there's things like the, well, I guess in Toronto and Vancouver both, the train goes above and below ground. Like it's mostly above ground in Vancouver and mostly below ground in Toronto, but it kind of flip-flops once in a while. Sometimes the Vancouver one goes underground, sometimes the Toronto one goes above ground. But I've never seen an above ground train get to exact street level. Like I looked out the window and it's like, oh shit, all of a sudden I feel like I'm in Amsterdam. Like I'm just on a streetcar that's just going along the road. This is fucking neat. And now at Kanding, I'm just in a very distinctly less populated area. Like there was no train station, no turnstiles. It was just the little honor system, you know? You just have to put your card against the little check-in, check-out pole. And then when I first got off the train, it really felt like in Fukuoka when I went one stop beyond, when I took the train up north, and I went one stop beyond the main stop with all the water parks and stuff, and I was just suddenly in nowhere's land with no one around. It really felt like that for a second. Now that I'm walking a bit, there's a lot more people than that, but there's a lot less people than everywhere else I've been in Taiwan. And yeah, already I'm just kind of awkwardly walking along the edge of a road without enough room for a pedestrian, although there is an older guy ahead of me. I don't know, even if I can brute force my way to the waterfront, well, there's at least a little symbol here, one of those little like, hey, take a cool picture here. Maybe I can at least get to there. But neat as an experiment just to see what's out here, although it's already a bit after 5 o'clock, so yeah, I only have a couple hours of light left, so that's the point of experimenting, that's the point of exploring. Just gotta see what's there. And what's there might be nothing. Yeah, there is like no sidewalks anywhere here. It's just these like rural style roads with little bits of space on the side. And I mean, there are other pedestrians, I'm not the only one. But far from comfortable. Yeah, I'm at least on the road now toward whatever this view, the little camera icon. I'm heading down that way so I can at least see what that is. And then just loop around and maybe just go home. But another thing that's cool about this is I've circled around the national park. You know, I'm like behind it now. Or no, not behind it, still to the left of it. But you know, if I just continued along this way, I would just keep going around the big mountain of Yangmingshan National Park. So it's kind of cool just to watch it go by on the train and just watch yourself turn. Like, I guess I've gone about a quarter of the way around. So just seeing the mountain from different angles and just being able to triangulate in your mind, you know, the sort of size of it by having a better awareness of what's around it and how long it takes to travel around it, which is not very long. It really seems like it's probably not that big of a deal to go hike up through there. Because I guess even yesterday, I mean, I did get to the entrance, to one of the entrances of the park. And it was, you know, the only thing that was hard about it was that the roads were so narrow. The actual time it took me to get there was like no big deal. It was a couple hours. If even. Maybe it was like 90 minutes of just wandering through town, you know, like not a big deal. So I think having the, just knowing where to start from, finding an appropriate entrance, finding an appropriate start point. I feel like that's going to be a pretty accessible place. So that's cool. And I also grabbed some Wi-Fi while I was in the subway station. And the mountain I saw before, Yinghanling. But yeah, I couldn't find the actual height of that mountain because it's not one of the top 100 tallest mountains. It's not even like in the top 250. So it's not on the list that I could find. But I did find little reviews of the hike. And yeah, they basically said, make sure you start from the appropriate spot, you know, make sure you start from the actual trail, which is around the back of the mountain. But then it's like 30 minutes to get up. Because yeah, it's never that big of a deal to get up a mountain. It's always a surprisingly short walk. It just looks huge. It looks so big, but I think that could be the prominence thing too, because we're literally right next to the ocean. I could just see the ocean level, and then there's the mountain. So I am seeing the full thing. It reminds me of like these dumb debates of like guys with small dicks, you know, that are like, you know, if you shave your pubes, it'll make your dick look bigger, you know? It's like, that's what this is like. It's like, if there's foothills around a mountain, that's making the mountain look smaller. Where this thing is just ocean, mountain. Whatever height that mountain is, that's it. Boom. It looks enormous. Like just looking at it, I'm like, it just seems so huge, but a mere 30 minutes to get up there. No biggie. They say the hike's not that hard. And a couple of different reviews claimed it was one of the best views of Taipei and New Taipei City alike. One of the very best. So that sounds like a definite plan. I think the hardest part is going to be getting to that trailhead, you know, that I've got to cross the bridge and then walk around the mountain to the back. That's going to be the tricky part. And then just finding a day where it's clear, although that's again, there's upsides and downsides. If it's an overcast day, it's probably a better hike, but then the view might not be as cool. But yeah, that's coming up for sure. That's in my future for sure. Oh, and here we go. I've twisted and turned around a couple of country roads. There's even less traffic now. I'm seeing a number of just stray dogs and cats I've passed. This feels very countryside-ish. This feels like my relatives who live on Campobello Island or who live in Peniac, New Brunswick. This feels big time like that, just mountain roads. Really simple buildings, everything's kind of old. But I can see the water down ahead of me. It's coming up, I'm almost there. Yeah, this will be fine for today. This is a plenty fine adventure. Or again, I think this whole thing has been kind of just learning what I can't do. Can't just look at the mountains and walk toward them. Can't just point myself at the ocean and walk to it. Definitely need a plan. Need a plan of attack for anything you want to do around here. Oh, there's a rooster. And just one of the locals is also looking at it like, are you supposed to just be walking around? Why are you just why are you just walking around? So that sounds like where the rooster is supposed to be. I can't see those birds, but I can hear them. Here we go. There we go. Another curve in the road. Oceanside. Boom. This is nice. Oh, kind of creepy though in a weird way. Like, yeah, that's the ocean all right, because there's nothing out there. Shades of Jeju. I mean, that's actually even more. Jeju had quite a few little mini mountains, you know, it wasn't that common for there to just be nothing in the water. But here, there is nothing. There are no mini mountains, there's no little stop partway in. It is just fucking ocean as far as the eye can see. Oh, there's a nice little beach here though, there's some people. Yeah, there's one guy who was ahead of me who I just walked past, just some student taking a picture of the sun as it's heading down. And then on this beach ahead of me, there's one dog who's probably affiliated with somebody, but who knows. One couple walking along, and then one guy further down, and that's it. So yeah, pretty empty beach, but it could just be that it's just not easy to get here. Not super accessible. And it's a rock beach, little, but not like the big, crazy volcanic rocks like in Jeju. These are just nice, smooth pebbles, smooth stones all along the beach. Not bad, man. Not bad. Pretty nice. Yeah, it is kind of weird with stuff like this of like, yeah, I bet if I lived near here, this would be cool. I could come down here. But as a distinct journey, this is it, man. This is the one. But I guess that's what's neat about just experimenting is just, why else would I be here? How else would I get here? But yeah, this is kind of neat actually. I haven't really seen one of these beaches that's just smooth rocks. I can't think of one, certainly none on Jeju or in Busan. I don't know in Japan, I don't think so. I think all the beaches I found in Japan were generally sand, you know, either south of Yokohama or north of Fukuoka. This kind of feels Atlantic. This feels kind of Atlantic Canadian. This is cool. Oh, whatever that smell was, it passed too. So that's nice, because that would certainly hurt the vibe if the smell was pervasive, but it didn't last. Hello. And this older guy walking just waved to me friendly like. That's nice. Oh, and here's some bottles and general garbage, but I guess though, I mean, yeah, Taipei is still, it's such a remarkably clean place that yeah, you gotta take the train all the way to the end, get on the light rail, take that all the way to the end, then walk all the way down the country roads, all the way to the beach, and then I'm not even at the main part, the photo point. I had to leave there and then walk down the beach, and then finally there's a bit of garbage. That's not too bad, man. And it's not like a ton, it's just a bit. I do feel like that's something I'm gonna do if I ever just get stuck in one area, especially when I'm older. You know, I've heard this philosophy, I heard it from a Japanese YouTuber, but the idea of just a way to center yourself at the start of the day, to kind of humble yourself, is to clean a public washroom. Apparently there are like high-powered CEOs in Japan who clean public washrooms on their way to work, you know, just to start their day in a humbled, centered way. I could definitely see doing that as like garbage pickup guy. If it was kind of the area near where I live and somewhere that I went every day. Just make a habit of picking up garbage every day on my walk. But since I'm always going through different neighborhoods all the time, I don't know. I don't feel a particular affiliation. And you do have to be ready for it. Like you have to carry a garbage bag around with you if you're gonna be that guy. That being said, back in my hometown, in Fredericton, New Brunswick, there's Odell Park, is this nice park in the middle of town that I went to like pretty much literally every day because there weren't that many options. And there was this cool side path that went down along a creek and had a little bench, and it just was one that not a lot of people used. And somebody, you know these little teeny tiny cans of Pepsi or Coke, but in this case it was Pepsi. You can get those little teeny like 12-ounce cans. There was somebody who used to just leave a can there all the time. Like they'd obviously go sit there and drink their little can and then leave it, not take it to the garbage. In the summer, in the winter, didn't matter when. And especially in the winter, it just bothered me because everything was so pristine and so beautiful. And just this amazing, gorgeous, snowy landscape, like out of a fucking poem, you know? And then there'd be the blue Pepsi can sitting there. And I did pick up the can because I just hated seeing it. You know, just ruined my day seeing the can there. But then I'd come back in a couple of days and there'd be another can. And I had vivid fantasies. I mean, this was during COVID too. I was losing my mind a bit. But since this guy was so consistent, I had vivid fantasies about like waiting in the woods right by that bench with a giant stick and just beating the fucking shit out of that guy. I thought about it often. And then, you know, my fucking mania would hit the point of like, I'd go all the way through it of like, what if I got arrested? What if I literally got put in jail for like years? Like, I don't know, how much could they give you for an assault like that? I guess it would depend on how bad I beat the guy. In my mind, like 2 or 3 years. 10 years would be too much. I'd feel bad about it. But like 3 years, I would be unrepentant. I would be like, it was worth it. Fuck that guy. He deserved the beating I gave him. What an asshole. I would do it again. Yeah, I was not you know, I think everybody had a tough time during COVID. So, you know, I say that, like maybe I'll be the, you know, like when you adopt a highway or something, the guy who just tries to pick up the garbage. But if there is like a very consistent pattern of one specific person very clearly and consistently leaving garbage as just a deliberate flaunting of everyone else's fucking, because you know, it's communal property, it's a fucking park. It's just such a fuck you to everyone else who walks through the park. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the limits of my kindly old man who picks up garbage, like I feel like that tank would probably run dry pretty fast. Maybe I would just become the fucking Punisher of just like tasing people and leaving them in the snow, telling them they know what they did. Anyway, I'm on like a walkway now that is off of the rocks. It's like a concrete walkway. And there's some people ahead of me. This goes a lot further than I thought it did. So yeah, this is kind of cool. I guess I'll just keep walking down the shore. I'm kind of looping back around theoretically. Oh yeah, maybe. Heading toward Shuiguan Park, Shuiguan. Yeah, if I can make it all the way here. Oh, and there's that Shaolin Beach I mentioned before. And there is a branch, the light rail actually splits. So I took the split that went to Candish, but the other split is down here. So this could be perfect. If I can keep walking along the shore, then I can hop on the other branch of the light rail and take that home. That would be fucking perfect. And I am reasonably confident that's what's going to happen. Oh yeah, here's a bunch more people now. Cool, all right. Looks like you can walk along the shore a little more than I thought. This ain't bad. And there's some kind of creepy ass, I mean, these things pop up a lot in, especially in South Korea, but like these old military battlements or whatever. Apparently there's a lot of them in Okinawa too, in Japan, like the island stuff. But yeah, I just walked by one that was just like a little like a little opening. You know, I don't know how to get into the other part of it, but it's obviously like, I mean, it looks like somewhere where you could like stick a cannon out and fire it, but it's probably more just like a lookout or something. I don't know. Yeah, I found quite a few of those around Seoul especially. And then obviously there's all those military caves on Jeju. But yeah, I just walked by one here. It is kind of weird, those little pieces of battle history, because we have very few of those in Canada. Just not a lot of wars that happened on Canadian soil. So it's always kind of weird to see those signs of a violent past. There we go, back on the stones. So anyway, yeah, I'm just gonna keep on walking and see if I can complete this loop. Well, this is kind of neat. There's like a walkway. Again, sort of a, I think actually for this one, they said to walk your bicycles. It's no bicycles, just joggers and walkers. But there is a big seawall, so you can't see the ocean as you walk, but there is occasional rickety wooden ladders that you can climb up. And it's a high enough wall. I don't know, let's see. I mean, it's more than two of me, so I don't know, I'm going to say 18 feet, 20 feet. So climbing up onto the top of it is a little freaky, and then there's some of those, what are they called? The tetra things, tetrahedrons on the other side to stop weather. But yeah, so you can't really see the ocean as you walk, but you can climb up once in a while and take a gander. But it is just infinite water, no other islands at all. Which I suppose must make, like when those typhoons and stuff hit, must make it even worse. Nothing to slow them down. They just whack right into poor old Taiwan. But instead I'm looking the other way, back at the national park and at the new mountain I discovered that is going to be my next port of call. And it's interesting because they both look the same. Like, yeah, I think it's not just my imagination that Yinghanlin looks really big. Because I know that national park, the tallest peak is a little over 1,000 meters. But most of them, if I remember what I read properly, are like 700 or 800 meters. So I don't know if I can see the tallest peak from here. I might just be looking at the 700 or 800 meter ones, but I can see them real clearly. And yeah, it's just like I'm approximately the same distance from both mountains, and they just look the same. They look like mirror images of each other almost, or even like the same shape, the same kind of bumps on the top. So that'll be kind of neat once I get up there. So far there have been nice height indicators on the few little peaks I've been to so far. So hopefully there's one up there too. You know, I'm sure if I just do more research, I can dig up the number somewhere if I don't find it on the mountain. But that could be kind of cool to go up there, and hopefully I can find a little peak plaque that'll tell me. And we'll see. We'll see if I'm at all right. But that's what I'm guessing. I'm going to guess between 700 and 800. And then we'll see. We'll see if my amateur orienteering is even remotely right. Actually, maybe it is a bit smaller. I think the national park side is a bit bigger. So let's go with the lower end of that. Let's aim for 700 then. Yeah, I'm going to put down 700 as my official guess. And then stay tuned to future episodes and we'll see. But I mean, who knows? It could be way less than that, because that's certainly one thing that I learned on Jeju, is that when you're right next to the ocean, a 400 meter mountain is huge. It's so fucking big. So I could be way overshooting. But who knows? Hey, a rainbow. Holy crap. I think that might be the first rainbow I've seen on this whole trip. And it's not really a bow, it's just a little band in the sky. But that's pretty fucking cool. Man, that really is, I mean, I don't really know. I know the sort of very vague generalities of refracting light and different frequencies that make the different colors. Like, I don't really know. If I had to write the encyclopedia entry about rainbows, it would be very wrong. But obviously I know way more than, like an ancient person would know. But that must have been weird as fuck for them, because it's so distinctly all the colors. Yeah, I can see blue, green, yellow, orange, red, a little bit of purplish on the very edge. Yeah, that must have been weird as fuck for them. All of this shit, you know? I mean, that's the obvious, like, thunder and lightning, and it's like the gods are angry, or that the stars are like pinholes in a sheet hanging over the earth, or who knows, whatever. But rainbows are an especially weird one, because it's so distinctly all the colors of the rainbow, you know? I wonder what they thought about that. What kind of theories they came up with. Oh, and here's a bunch of homeless cats, like 3 of them. Somebody left some food for them. So yeah, way more stray animals down here by the ocean. All right, I made it back. Yeah, that was a nice little walk. It was actually really easy to get to, holy shit, I never noticed this before. It's kind of dark tonight, so I'm not gonna take a picture right now, but I gotta come back in the daytime. There's like a mosaic mural of a skateboarder in this station. What is this fucking station? This is cool as hell. Oh, I hate the blue text on black. Why the fuck, man? Come on, dude. Google Maps. What is wrong with you? It's literally the worst combination. Shilin? S-H-I-L-I-N? Anyway, yeah, this is fucking cool. I'm gonna take a picture of that in the daytime. But yeah, I think I actually picked, well, like I was saying with the light rail, how it splits. It goes 2 different ways. So the way I took was not easy to get to the coastline because it was just little narrow country roads. The other split, the other branch, is a lot easier because that's how I looped around and came back. And there was actually several stations I could have gone to. They were all real accessible, easy to get to. Nice. And yeah, it was like a pretty nice little walk, but it is one of those cases where it's kind of weird, where it's like, yeah, that was nice, that was all right. But I probably will never, you know, go out all that way again, you know, far enough to be on the light rail. Because that really is the journey all the way to the end of the train, but it was cool to do once. And then on the way back, I accidentally went a stop too far on the train, but it doesn't really matter. It's about the same distance either way. But it's actually kind of nice to be able to sit on the train. I wish it was a longer ride in some ways. To actually sit on the train and do some writing and stuff, because yeah, I just could not do that on those buses on Jeju. I got such motion sickness. But subways don't give me motion sickness at all. They're delightful to sit on and get some stuff done. Yeah, I guess the trouble now is I just got to figure out which direction to walk. It is all a little confusing. Okay, wait. So there's the train. Okay, I think I know where I'm going. Sure does get dark fast. Yeah, it's only 7:30. And it is mid-August. It is pitch black. The sky is that super eerie looking, you know, it's probably because of, you know, the city's looking beautiful. Tons of lights all lit up. There's some kind of church in front of me. I don't see a ton of churches out here, but this one's all lit up and neon and cool looking. So I'm sure it's a light pollution thing, although it could be overcast too. It was kind of overcast earlier, but I can't see anything in the sky. It's just black. I don't see any stars. I don't see any clouds. It is just uniform darkness. And yeah, it's only 7:30, so like, wow. It gets dark so fucking early and so fucking fast, even in August. I did not realize that at all. Again, I think it's the time change, the different time zone makes it one step even beyond South Korea and Japan. So I'll have to keep that in mind, you know, even if it only takes 30 minutes to hike up a mountain. Still have to keep that in mind for any mountaineering adventures I'm going to do. Earlier is better. Once I started taking the subways too, I'm definitely eating up my old transit card pretty fast. Because I put, what did I put on it? Was it like 100? I think I did. So it's like half gone. I'm down to 50 some. So I'm not actually sure how much each ride costs. It's definitely more than South Korea, but transit in South Korea was like exceptionally inexpensive. It was an awesome deal. It was so cheap between the subways and the buses. It was just like, wow, feel like I can just go all over the place. And, by the end I was having to deliberately use up the money on my card. I don't think that'll be an issue here. I'm not taking a ton of transit, but it's adding up, but only at, normal transit rates. I'm certainly not complaining. I love the accessibility of transit in Asia. It is so awesome for me as a pedestrian man, as a non-driving man. Oh, it's the best. The only North American city I can kind of give pretty strong props to is Vancouver. The greater Vancouver area, you can really get around. Everywhere else that I've been, yikes. Yikes. But I think that's it for today's adventure. I think I got away with the no suntan lotion thing too. I mean, that was just a total lapse of brains. I just walked right out of the house and didn't even think about it. But I feel pretty good because I have such lily white skin. I don't usually get surprised later on. Like, I don't think I'm going to wake up tomorrow and have all my skin peel. I think I would be feeling it. I think right now I would be in trouble. So if you hear no updates about that, assume I got away with it. Pretty lucky, pretty lucky. There's the train going by overhead. Yeah, I decided to just follow the train line, just to walk under the actual train line. No better way to get where I'm going than that. But all right, thank you for listening once again. Got some mountains in my future. Got some mountains on my mind. So stay tuned to shift gears. Those really are the two gears, I think, of this podcast. Walking around the city or hiking around a mountain. That's about it. Over and over and over in different countries. I guess at least I know what I like. So all right, hopefully I'll see you then. Adios.